to the Annoto webinar. Here's what we have planned. We're going to start with Annoto overview. What is Annoto? What for? Then we're going to take you to see how Annoto looks like right within Canvas. We're going to take you through different learning journeys so you can create the exact learning experience that you want to create in your course videos. And we're also going to talk about different analytics and insights that you can get from this activity on your course students and the content. So let's dive in. Think about Annoto as your Swiss Army knife for video content. It's right there, it's handy, it's kind of like a small toolbox that gives you different ways of engaging with your students. The concept of Annoto is to provide you with different ways of making sure that students are watching videos in an active way instead of just passively sitting in front of the video and waiting for the video to end, because usually at some point their minds would just start wandering somewhere else. But we want to keep our students focused, we want to keep them engaged, and we want to make sure that our students actually learn something from this video content. And so in order to do that, there are different ways of how can we engage our students. We can engage them by enhancing their self-learning experience. We can provide our students with different ways of assessing their knowledge and giving them feedback. We can also create in-video discussions to make sure their understanding and their comprehension. And above all that, we can get analytics and insights about all the activity of our students and the consumption of our video content. Once Annoto is enabled in the course, it adds two different components. One of them is the widget. The widget is sitting aside of the video and includes different tabs, which are different ways of engaging our students. In addition to that, we have the video timeline that gives us a visual representation of everything that is happening in the widget. The second component of Annoto is the Annoto dashboard. Accessing the dashboard is done through the Canvas navigation menu. You may have direct access to the dashboard right here from the menu. And if you do not, accessing the dashboard is done through the media gallery. In different canvases, it may be called in different ways, such as course media, media gallery, course gallery, and so on. Inside Media Gallery, in order to access the Annoto dashboard, we're going to go on the right side into the Channel Actions menu. Clicking here will allow us to go into the Annoto dashboard. The Annoto dashboard gives you real-time analytics on your course content and your students' activity. Under the hub, you're going to see all the activity that happened in all course videos, even if they're from different resources. Under Insights, you can see all the activity that happened in the course throughout the time range that you're looking at. You can drill down to see different aspects of the course. We're going to get back to that later on. The Preferences allows you to choose which features you want to use, what different pedagogical ways you want to engage your students. You can enable and disable features from here for all course videos as well as for a specific video. But now, let's see all the different pedagogical learning journeys. Starting with Annoto for self-learning. The Annoto personal notebook, pretty much like its name, is a completely private place for the students to reflect on the video content. Every comment is time tagged. Clicking on the time tag will take the video to that exact moment that the comment refers to. Here's how it works. I'm playing the video. Whenever I want to add a comment, I'm going to click here. My video will pause and I can add my comment. I can add a sentiment, the type of comment that I'm adding. Clicking here to submit will add the comment with its relevant time tag. The personal notes can even be downloaded. If I want to download my personal notes, I will go to the Annoto menu right above these different tabs. Click here. And next to personal notes, I can download to a spreadsheet or a document. Here's an example of my exported personal notes. I can see the comment of my notes. I can see their time tags. I can even see the sentiment that I added to each and every one of my notes. Since this is a downloaded file, I can edit it, I can print it, I can basically do whatever I want with that. Some instructors are using the personal notes in a completely different way as an individual assignment. So I can ask my students to watch the video, to analyze the video, or write some kind of a personal notebook throughout the video. Then I can ask my students to download their notes and submit that as an assignment all through Canvas. In general, the Annoto activity is solely within Canvas. You don't need to download any application. You don't need to install anything or to go anywhere. Everything is right there within your Canvas. Another way of engaging our students for their self-learning can be through in-video quizzes. In-video quizzes have two flavors. One of them can be connected to the gradebook, which we will get to later. And the other is we can create in-video quizzes that are not connected to the gradebook. They are simply for engagement and for practicing. Creating in-video quizzes is done from the video itself in this red button in 3 simple steps. I'm going to create my quiz questions. I'm going to preview to see how my students will see them, and then I will publish them. When creating in-video quizzes, I can choose the type of question that I want, whether it's true or false, multiple choice, multiple answer that can even be used for filling in the blanks. I will add the question itself, the answers to the question. My timestamp will be set automatically based on where I was in the video. I can assign points, add feedback. I can set if the question would be mandatory. Do I want my students to retry or to rewatch? Do I want the question to be in the middle of the screen or part of the side panel? Do I want to pause the video or not? I can see a quick review of the question that I have set and click Save. Once my question was added right here, I can go to see a preview, how my students would see that. My students would see that after 4 seconds, they're going to have a multiple choice question. Once we get to 4 seconds, the video will pause, my question will pop, and I can answer the question. Once I answer, I will get immediate feedback of whether I got it right or wrong. As a student, once I finished answering all the questions, I will see my results here. As an instructor, I will see these results in the Annoto dashboard. If they're connected to the gradebook, we're going to see that right there in the grades. But either way, we're going to see the activity and the results in the Annoto dashboard. After finishing watching these questions and making sure that this is what I wanted, let's exit the preview. And then let's publish the question. Only once my questions are published, only now my students would see the quizzes tab and the questions themselves. In order to see my activity in this video, I can either access the dashboard from the menu like we've mentioned before, or I can access this video dashboard directly from the Annoto menu here. So clicking on the menu, accessing the dashboard will take me to the analytics and insights of this specific video. Once my video dashboard was open, I can go full screen. And so in the video, I can choose exactly which features I want to use, or I can even go to assessment to see the results of this quiz. Let's talk about social learning. In some cases, I may want to create a discussion in the video. Whether these are recorded lectures and I want to allow my students a place to add some questions. Whether it's a new topic they're required to learn as part of a flipped classroom. Or whether it's a knowledge video that I want to make sure that my students are watching. In the comment space, I can add time-based questions, each of them referring to that exact moment in the video. I can use the comment space to invite my students to ask questions for which I can answer or their fellow students can reply to. I can use the comment space to guide my students with questions, making sure that they understand what they are watching. The comment space can include many different features to create that exact experience that you want them to have. For example, students can post comments anonymously, meaning fellow students will not know who added the comment, but you as the instructors will know. This will greatly help the shy students, the ones that don't like everyone to know who is asking the questions. You can use comments badging, and you can do more than that. You don't have to type all your course comments. You can even record either your screen or your camera as part of that video discussion. Setting the features of my comment space can be done like we saw from the dashboard of this video. Under preferences, I can choose exactly which features I want, whether I want to enable video comments, whether I want to enable anonymous commenting, and even if I want my students to be able to register for notifications. Once I'm registered, from the Annoto menu, I can choose to follow the discussion, meaning for any new comment or reply that I will get, I can get an email saying, "Hi, Gili, Han just answered your question. Click here," and this will take me back to the video. In some cases, I may want to make sure that a specific student had truly understood what they were watching in the video, or to contact someone who I think that might be a student at risk. So the people space can allow me to see everyone that is with me in the course. I can click on a specific student and invite them to a private chat. I can even see the history of all of my chats. And if I have enabled the comment space to ask them some questions, I may want to also allow my students to use the personal notes. Like we've mentioned, in the preferences within the dashboard, I can enable and disable whichever features I want for all my course videos, as well as for a specific video. Of course, Annoto also works in full screen mode. It is fully accessible and complies with every browser and every device. In some cases, I may not want to have an activity in the video, but I do want to see the analytics and the insights of my students. For this case, I would use the Annoto Analytics preset in the preferences. Once Analytics preset is chosen, I will see this little icon. My students will not see it. Clicking on it will take me to the dashboard of this video. Once again, I can open full screen and I can go and see the insights of the activity of my students in this video during this time range that I'm looking at. Annoto can also be used for creating in-video graded quizzes. The quizzes results will go directly to Canvas grades. Creating graded quizzes is done from Canvas assignments. In order to create a graded assignment, under Submission Type, choose External Tool. Under Find, you have two different ways of how to create a graded assignment. If it's through Kaltura, you can use the Kaltura video quiz. Going to the Kaltura quizzes will show me all my Kaltura videos from which I can choose. Clicking Select will embed this video in this assignment, and the results of the quiz will go directly to the grades. If I want to use a completely different player, maybe it's not a Kaltura video, I can use Embed Annoto Media. Using Embed Annoto Media will allow me to choose any video type that I want, whether it's YouTube, Vimeo, OneDrive, basically any media source that you're taking from the web. I will paste the link of the video, I will edit title, and embed the video. Clicking Select and saving will add this activity. After our in-video quizzes were created and published and our students have answered them, we're going to see the grades under Canvas grades for each and every one of our students. In some cases, I may want to grade my students based on their video completion. In this case, we will choose the Annoto Analytics preset from the Annoto dashboard. Remember, we have this little button that takes us to the Annoto Preferences window. The preset that we would want to have is Analytics, but we want to make sure that Assessment Criteria is turned on. Assessment Criteria is the place where I can set what my students' grades will be based upon. In my course Annoto Preferences, I would have the Assessment Criteria library. This is the place where I can create the criteria that I would want to use in my course videos in order to assess my students. Creating my criteria will be done through this green button. When creating criteria, I will select what it would be based on. My criteria can either be based on my students' results in the quiz, on their video completion, or on a combination of both. For this example, we're going to use only activity completion. So I can set what is the percentage of the video that I want my students to watch. In this case, let's go with 80%. Once my students watch 80% of the video, they will get 100 points for this activity. After my criteria was added to the library, I can go back to the video and choose this specific criteria for that video. I'm in the video dashboard. I will go to Assessment Setup. I can go full screen and choose the criteria that I want to use for this specific video. Here are the list of my options. This is the one that I have just created. Let's apply this one. Once my criteria is applied and my students have watched the video, I can go to the Annoto dashboard to see exactly which of my students watched the video and how much of they watched. In the video dashboard under Assessment tab, I will see each and every one of my students and how much of the video they watched. Either way, the results will go directly to grades. In order for this video to be graded based on its completion, we have to make sure that it is done through creating an assignment which is connected to Canvas grades, and that we are choosing the submission type of external tool, just like we saw under graded quizzes. You can also add release conditions, meaning students will not be able to move to their next assignment until they finish the previous one. How to do that? We have step-by-step how-to guides in our knowledge base. Annoto can be used for students' video submissions. Students can record themselves through Kaltura or through Annoto and embed these videos within Canvas. Then the Annoto widget will be used to provide time-based feedback for these videos. Annoto can be used for peer review, skills assessment, and even self-reflection. So let's see how do we create each of these activities within Canvas. Creating a peer review activity is done through assignments. I can set the assignment that I want to be peer review. I can even manually or automatically set which of my students will critique whose videos. When setting the assignment, I can set the criteria that I want. Once my students will see the assignment and submit their videos, under SpeedGrader, I will see my students' videos and their activity as well as their feedback for their fellow students. This is my SpeedGrader page. This is my student's video, and here I can see the comments of his fellow students. I can even grade my students based on his video or his comments to others. From the Annoto widget, I can also see what were the comments that each of my students wrote in his fellow students' videos. Based on that, I can grade my students in the SpeedGrader. When submitting videos for skills assessment, I can create an assignment in which only the student who submitted the video and myself and the instructor would see that video. When going to SpeedGrader after my students have submitted their videos, I will see my student submission and I can add my own comments for that student. I can even grade my students on their video right there within my Canvas. And I can also ask my students to write self-reflection within these videos. So students can watch their own videos and write comments like, "Missed opportunity, I should have done this and that." Or they can actually explain why they chose to do something in that specific moment in the video. In this case, once I get to give my feedback on the video, I will already see what my students have learned from watching their own videos. In some cases, I may want to use videos for group critique. In this case, I will create a discussion for which my students will upload their videos and submit their comments on their fellow students' videos. Of course, for every activity that I'm creating, even in discussions, I can see the results under SpeedGrader. Let's dive into the wonderful world of the dashboard. The dashboard gives me analytics and insights on all of my course content, as well as on each and every one of my students and my videos. And it also allows me to choose the preferences, the features that I want to have in all my course videos, as well as per specific video. I can scroll and manually enable or disable features that I want in my videos. If I want to save time, I can use the pre-made preset just to choose how I want to use my course videos. And even after I've chosen a preset and applied it, I can also enable or disable additional features that I want to add to my course. Here are some examples of features that we added based on requests that we got from faculty. When using the collaborative learning experience, when having a discussion in the video, under comments, I can set mandatory participation. Once mandatory participation is turned on, that means that students have to post something in order to read what others have written. Some additional capabilities in the preferences can be limit fast forwarding. If my students are taking a quiz, I may not want them to be able to skip ahead in the video. Allowing limit fast forwarding will do that. Under options, I can set, do I want my students not to be able to skip in the video until they answer all mandatory quiz questions, or all the questions, or throughout the entire activity. Some additional features that I can choose from can be anonymous commenting, or badges, or even allowing notifications. And in some videos, I may want to manually control which comments can be viewed. So if I'm enabling managed comments, I can set to manually approve or dismiss students' comment, and even to have the option to privately reply to my students' questions. Under user experience, I can set the UX that my students will have. For example, if the Annoto widget is closed by default, under load state, I can change it to be open. Don't forget to save changes. The Dashboards hub allows me to see all the different videos that I have in the course, whether they're recorded lectures, YouTube videos, any videos that my students have submitted, or any other type. They're all going to be under the hub. For every video, I can see what was the activity there, and I can even click on a specific video and see the activity that happened in that specific one. When drilling down into a video, the Annoto dashboard has the same structure. In the hub, I can see the entire video's content. In this case, the discussion in the video. From here, I can even reply to my students' comments. Under Insights, I can see the activity that happened throughout the video in the time range that I'm looking at. When looking at insights in my video, I can even drill down to see each and every one of my students and what they did in the video, how many times they watched it, did they complete watching the videos, did they write something in the discussion or in their personal notebook, and so on. If I added quiz questions and my students have answered them, I will see the results right here under Assessments. But even after drilling down into a video, I can always go back to the course level dashboard. Under the course insights, I can see an overview of the entire activity in the course. For example, how many of my students have watched the videos? How many of them wrote in their personal notebook? How many of my students collaborated, meaning wrote comments or replies in the discussion? And I can even see how many of my students got engaged. Engaged means not only if they wrote a comment, but also if they read other students' comments. So if they got interested in the discussion, I can truly see the impact of that discussion on additional students right here in the overview. Under Videos table, I can see all my course content and compare the different videos. I can see how many users watched each video. Did they complete watching the videos? Which videos had the highest engagement of my students? Or which videos did not have any discussion at all, but my students have wrote in their personal notebook? The videos table allows me to get insights on my course content. For example, if this is towards the end of the semester and I have only 2 students who watch the video, I may want to rethink this video for next semester. Maybe I would want to replace it, or maybe make it a mandatory activity. The concept of this table is to give me these insights. And if I want to take a look of my course students, I can do that in the users activity table. I can see each and every one of my students, how much of the videos they watched. Did they watch all course videos or only some of them? Did they participate in the discussion by writing comments or by reading others? Did they write in their personal notebook? I can even drill down to a student to see what was their activity. I can even drill down to see the list of all the course videos and to learn about that student, how many times they watched this video. Did they watch the entire video at once? Or did they watch it in short blocks? I can really dive in to see if any of my course students might need some help. And when looking back on my course insights, I can go to the activity trends graph and see my students' activity throughout the time range that I'm looking at. And an important note, if you've already created an Annoto activity and you're teaching the same course, you definitely don't need to do that same activity twice. From the Annoto dashboard of the new course, go to the menu on the right side. Click Import Data from another course. This will show you the list of all of your courses. Choose the course you want to import from. Then pick what you want to import, maybe my video preferences, if I've added some guiding questions. And even if I've created quizzes, I can import all of them in just one click. If you want to learn more about the Annoto learning journeys, if you want to get tips and best practices, if you want to get inspired by other faculty, you're more than welcome to visit the Annoto Knowledge Center. It includes not only all of that, but also how-to guides. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. We are here for any questions or requests. Bye.